So my name is Amitabh. A few friends of mine and all of us together are experimenting with digital content. That's a better way to put it. I've been writing a blog for a long time. One of the concepts which I thought was very important was I think we end up talking a lot about who's successful, who's doing well, and success not just in the context of money, right? Like, for example, we celebrate an Olympic gymnast, we celebrate somebody who can sing in 2 octaves or 3 octaves, we celebrate somebody who's probably doing great in music. We obviously celebrate the billionaires of the world. We celebrate somebody who's doing well in startups. So we do we do celebrate as a race, as a community, as the world, a lot of people in this in on this planet. One of the things which and I'll use I, but I actually mean we, but I is easier to talk and easier to relate to. So one of the things I've been debating personally, right, is that it's very hard for people to really relate, right? So let me explain this with an example, right? So I was watching uh, uh, snippets of the Olympics, and I saw how the gymnasts in Olympics are performing, or a snippet of their performance. And what I saw just stunned me, right? Stunned me in the sense not that it is. It was just stunning in a way which was unbelievable. Like, I couldn't imagine a human being I know, or any human being, doing what they were doing, right? They were doing somersaults, they were flipping in the air, they were they were inch perfect, and they were landing in perfect posture at perfect time on the perfect location. Now, that's not just hard to do, that's impossible to do for most of us, right? And if I was a young person, or whatever age I am, if I were to see this, my first reaction is, look, I'm never going to be even remotely good at this. Why even try? That's one. The second is, let's say I did see Simone Biles, let's say the lady who's in the uh, in a teacup and a storm, if that's the word to use. Uh, the lady who's been saying that she won't participate in gymnastics because she's struggling with mental health. That's beside the point. But if I saw an interview of Simone Biles, and I was trying to understand from that interview what I could pick up, I would actually not relate to a lot of stuff she was talking about, right? And not because, again, she's a bad speaker, I don't even know her, I don't want to judge her. But I think that what she's going to say is going to be leagues above my baseline in that pursuit, right? So my understanding of gymnastics, or my understanding of a typical uh, game or a sport in that league or in that category is so abysmal that whatever she says will sound like Greek and Latin to me. Now, would I watch her interview? Yes, I would watch her interview for probably learning something. Would I learn much? My real sense is no. It's almost like watching Federer and knowing the kind of game he plays, and then watching his interview and saying, I'm going to learn something from him. I think we all watch Federer interviews because we probably idolize him, we like him, we love him, whatever. But I don't think I watch Federer interviews because I think I'll learn anything from it, right? So the whole idea of us learning from people we idolize or emulate is a hugely constrained circumstance, or a hugely constrained problem space, if that's the right word to use, right? Which means you don't, or I don't, have easy access to what Federer really thinks. And more importantly, I don't think Federer is the one who's going to teach us. Who's going to teach us is, in my view, a student who is in Florida right now and who's practicing tennis 8 hours a day and is about to make the tough decision whether to choose uh, going pro or going to university or whatever is his or her other choice. Right? So that's going to teach us a lot, right? Because those are people we relate to. We all, I assume, I believe that if I tried hard enough, not at this age, but at some age, if I had tried hard enough, I would have reached that point where I could have taken possibly a decision point where I would have said, should I go pro or should I go to the university? And hence that person becomes relatable, and hence that conversation becomes relatable, because now whatever he or she puts out as a decision making framework or as a conversation framework is eminently relatable and is eminently applicable to my life and my understanding of my life. That is what. Let's take another example, right? I have a mother. I have, everyone has a mother, but I have a few people I consider as my mother or mothers, if I may say in plural. And I have a mother, and she's as mother can be, in the sense I don't think I distinguish between her and my biological mom, as an example. And my challenge, not challenge, challenge is the wrong word, but my impression of her is she is resolutely focused on doing some great work for, should I say, humanity or society, and she does really great work. Like I've seen this up close and personal, and I don't think I have it in me to serve the society the way she does it. I probably do my job, which is quite literally, sorry, a salary paying job. It pays my rent, it pays my bills, but that's about it. It is not anything more than that. And what I've learned watching her up close and personal is some people are truly driven by the amplification they can deliver to society. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to actually talk to her, understand, and I genuinely want to understand. I know her very well. This doesn't have to be a recorded chat, but this could be any chat, like we could be sitting at a bar, at a coffee shop, wherever, and talking about this, right? But on second thoughts, there is also immense merit in recording it for posterity, for others, for fun, for the joy of sharing, and the joy of digital content, if that's another way of putting it, right? So, we come to our concept. So, I was thinking, and again, when I say I actually mean we, but I was thinking that maybe we should end up recording a series of conversations slash podcast, whatever we want to call them, between human beings who have found their calling and seem to do it really well, but yet are very common, right? They're not celebrated, or they're not celebrated as Federer or a Bill Gates or Warren Buffett is. So they're not in that category, right? They're everyday humans who have found their niche and who have started performing at a level of, this sounds pseudo, but at a level of human consciousness which is slightly higher than ours, right? Or maybe much higher than ours, but at least not as high as a Federer or a Warren Buffett or whoever else, right? Let's say Jack Dorsey or whoever. I mean, I'm taking, unfortunately, most of my names are billionaires, which is sad, which is a sad reflection of my thought process. But yeah, I mean, it's very hard for us to to understand what a common person who has found, and I literally call them a common or a commoner kind of stuff. When a common person has found his or her calling and is delivering on that promise, it could be a very, very different experience learning from her, speaking to her. Like I have another friend who plays Beethoven's Ninth, and he can actually recite Beethoven's Ninth, and he's just like me, a regular Joe in everyday life, but he plays Beethoven's Ninth. He plays Beethoven's Ninth on a Steinberg piano, is my belief. I hope I pronounced it right. He has one at home, and I want to talk to him. I want to talk to him for a good hour. I mean, he's a friend. I could talk to him any day, but as I said, there's a joy in talking to him, making it fun, making it light, making it approachable. So that's the whole idea. So enough said. So we want to try and speak to common people about uncommon pursuits and how that fits into their life. Also want to try and understand how they rationalize it, right? How do they rationalize it into their larger life? So all of these conversations in some sense are going to talk about living, they're going to talk about existing, they're going to talk about mortality, because there's no like I can't talk to my friend about playing Beethoven's Ninth without asking him how does that fit in his larger life, right? Because I don't know too many people who do that. He's probably one among the 5,000 or 10,000 people in the world who can do that, and who can play Beethoven's Ninth and recite the choral or the vocal part of it. And he's an Indian and he recites it in German. So I want to understand from him what is it that he goes through, and what is it, how does he rationalize that piece of art into his larger life, and hence the question will eventually lead to some contemplation of mortality. Whether he calls it that or whether it's a grim topic, we should obviously respect all of that. So that's the whole idea. And I didn't have a great name for this series, so I still thought that maybe the right name for this series is Man Walks into a Rabbit Hole, right? And I know it's not gender neutral, and I'm completely effed up about this. I mean, I'm not a great... I'm not... While I genuinely believe in equalism, I genuinely treat every single person and animal in my life with huge amount of respect. I'm not for tokenism, right? My view is, look, man walks into a rabbit hole sounds so much more fun than person walks into a rabbit hole, because half the people won't get the joke. So for now, we'll probably be politically incorrect. We'll call this Man Walks into a Rabbit Hole. I'm not so sure whether this will ever see the light of the day, but I'm hoping one day it will. And when it does, this will probably be the first upload in that series. We're trying to define it in some form or shape. We're thinking through it. Let's have fun. Hope everyone sees immense value in this. This, just for posterity's sake, I'm talking on 1st of August, and quite literally this has been a mind dump, or it's just been a dump. Like, I haven't prepared, there's no script, there's no thought process, or there is a thought process, but there's no prepared thought process, and it's just something I wanted to share so that I define the concept better. That's it. Have fun, all of you, and bye. See ya.